Hello, and welcome back to the Simuldub Saints, your guide to seasonal anime dubs. I'm your host, Laserkid, and with me as always is my trusty co-host.
Hello, I am Archangel, lover of cat girls.
You've been listening to our theme song, Wherever I Go, from part of the podcast, Ampren. Please check out their awesome music, link in the description.
And this episode of the Simuldub Saints is sponsored by Serif Industries. More about them at the end.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Sorry we've been down for so long. My computer has been down, and in fact, it is still down as we record this. Ark has decided to be a saint of a saint, and is going to be recording and editing this, so it might be a little different. Please be nice.
It's going to be much more simplified. All of the cool editing magic that OK does, it's going to be pretty basic bitch here. So hopefully I got it close enough.
I'll give you some
particularly, yeah. So we were gonna do our year-end awards first, but we're doing this first because this is more time sensitive. First of all, and secondly, this is something I can actually put together a decent edit for on the fly with what I do for work. Whereas for the awards, we really want LK's proper editing for that when possible. So
I'm glad you like my editing.
Yeah, you do a really good job.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry we've been down for so long. Sorry for whatever downtime may still be coming. I don't know. My computer is in the repair shop. I should hear back from them soon about a diagnosis. And we go from there. But sorry about all of that. I hope you guys did enjoy our fun times over the holidays, though. I hope you enjoyed our Christmas episode. We actually had a lot of fun putting that one together. And to not make Ark's life absolute hell, we are going to not talk about any news today, because going through news is a pain in the ass. So,
and I don't think there's anything really critical that's happened anyway.
No, I haven't seen anything critical. I am going to shout out the because we didn't really get the chance to talk about it. But the Bleach dub of Core 3 is out on Hulu. I recommend it. Highly recommend it, especially if you've been watching Bleach this whole time. Part 3 of 1,000 Year Blood War is the best part so far, so good times with Bleach.
Excellent. All right, so without further ado, let us talk about the upcoming Simuldubs for winter season 2025. And
indeed,
all these seem to be off Crunchyroll. Is just to make sure we didn't miss anything. Okay, is High Dive doing anything new?
That was one of the things I was going to talk about, but I forgot, so I'm glad you mentioned. High Dive didn't have any listed, and they're currently doing Dungeon People and Insomniacs After School. I think they're just going to announce when they clear one of those.
Fair enough. Okay, so further bulletins as events warrant.
Indeed. So, we'll be talking pretty much exclusively about Crunchyroll today, because they're the only one I got a list for.
All right. So, why don't you lead us off, LK?
All right. Well, the first show we're going to talk about is one that we've actually watched the subtitle of to get an idea of what it's going to be like, and that's Ameku MD, Dr. Detective.
Yeah, because we're so late, we were actually able to do that for most of these.
Yes.
At least where we cared to.
We've either seen it subtitled, we've seen it dubbed.
We'll get specific. So this we actually watched not one but two episodes subtitled. We
couldn't stop at one.
Yeah, it's a two-parter, and we wanted to see what happened.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna. It's about the genius doctor Takao Ameku as she solves a series of medical mysteries. This is a House MD, but anime.
Yeah, so this is so House Columbo, House with a Watson. This show is straight fire. I love it.
Oh, it's great. I had no idea what to expect, but it was great. The fact that we watched two back-to-back episodes, glad they were there. I hope they do something for the dub, because it was delayed due to the storms out in Texas. My heart goes out to those voice actors and employees of Crunchyroll. Hope everyone's okay in those storms.
Indeed.
Because, winter storms are no joke.
Yeah, and apparently Texas gets snow now, so, It's the end of
They get
days.
snow, and California gets fire in winter, so who knows?
It is the end of days. Repent, repent.
Well, I'm going to let you talk about a show that you're more likely to talk about anyway as our next comment. Which
Yep. So yeah, just to summarize the Ameku, it's okay, imagine if Dr. House liked to play amateur detective and the detective he had a rapport with was freaking Columbo.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
basically what it
He
is.
even
And Dr.
sounds
House was
like
a cutie
Columbo.
pie.
The Japanese voice
Yeah,
actors
no,
don't like doing
that
it.
is an absolute love letter to Columbo, especially since I'm pretty sure the actor passed the other year, so...
Yes, so that's kind
Otherwise,
of a
I'd say
loving
get
little...
him to voice act that character if he was still
Oh,
alive.
if he was
And
still
up to...
alive, that would be amazing.
Yes, just for giggles. Anyway, so the next show is called Anyway, I'm Falling in Love with You, which I don't think LK or I will watch, but I do want to make clear, I think that if you're into straight romance, this is something you're not going to want to miss. It's very well considered, very well written, very well animated. And the first episode contains the slickest confession I've seen in quite a while, so, props to the character there. And another interesting thing is that it's been long enough since 2020 that the COVID outbreak is now able to be used as a plot point. So,
that is remarkable that they're going with that. I do think that's kind of neat. Not my genre, not really my interest. It's not doing anything special, but from what you're telling me, it sounds like it's doing it well. So
yeah, I can. Yeah, that's based off watching one episode subtitled. It looks fine. It's because at first I wasn't sure if it was going to be a middle-aged getting the gang back together thing, but no, it's just a flashback show. So which fine, because that might have been something I might have dragged LK to see in case he was interested, because it's like, okay. And it could still be that, I don't know. But I don't think so, from the phrasing. But yeah, it's fine. The other thing to note is that the cast here looks very, very similar to the cast in Honey Lemon Soda, which we'll talk about, which apparently that's what Japanese teenagers look like these days, so interesting.
Anime.
Right, but it's just, it's interesting, like, if you just show me the two groups of 5 side by side, without having watched the shows, they would look just all the same to me. So
I could actually see that.
All right, next up.
Get 1,000%, 10 million% ready. Mm-hmm. Get excited because the Doctor is in. The Doctor of Stones in Science Future, which may well be the final season. Either this is or the one after. When we've talked about Dr. Stone a little bit before, and I've always mentioned that I'd read ahead, this arc is the arc I stopped reading the manga in. So we're going to get past me pretty quick.
All right. But yeah, it is back and in high style.
Oh yes, that intro is
the intro is basically just a victory lap.
It's worth noting of the shows we're talking about, this one the dub is the same day. It's already here, and it's as good as it always is. All my love to that dub cast, and the staff as well. This dub is absolutely just as good as it always has been.
Okay, so one very slight tangent here, just because I'm sure they're going to answer it, but I just want to say something before we get an answer. So apparently they're going to North America, among other things, to look for dent corn. So first of all, I'm pretty sure they grow that elsewhere in the world. Secondly, although we're certainly the biggest, so there's two basic types of corn that are grown industrially. There's sweet corn, which is what you buy in the freezer, or corn on the cob. And then the vast majority is what's called dent corn, which we only eat as corn meal, but it's mostly used to feed animals and make ethanol, which is, I assume, what they want it for, is to make ethanol. So the thing is, corn, each of those kernels is a separate seed. So if you just drop a corn cob on the ground, none of them are really going to propagate because they choke each other out, as I understand it. So corn is something that can only survive if humans are growing and tending and planting it. That's my understanding just from reading and watching shit over the years. So I'm
I
skeptical
mean,
that
it cared from somewhere, so obviously other
well,
animals can do eat
right.
too.
Well, if we're talking like natural growing maize corn, yeah, I believe that survived the apocalypse. But after this long, I'm skeptical that human domesticated dent corn has survived, and is growing wild. Now, we'll see. Maybe they just ignored that. Maybe there's something about it that I
Well,
don't know.
there's a few things that you don't know that I'm gonna have to keep my mouth
Okay.
shut about.
Yeah. Now, if people um either avoided the apocalypse or got past the apocalypse in North America, that's one of the go-to crops. So,
It
in
is
that
one
case,
of my favorite things that this arc is basically Senku going, all right, it's time to go to America.
I want to be in America.
There you go.
Well, I mean, all the rich people wind up here eventually, here or London, so,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a very good place to live.
Oh yeah, the continent is the god. North America is the god spawn location for all my fellow Civilization players. It's totally an OP starting location.
Oh
Anyway,
yes,
but yeah, if you
but
want to know
yeah,
why, go look up the books by a guy named Peter Zion, who does a pretty good job of
can't
explaining it.
argue with that. But yeah, no, Doctor Stone's back. It's good, and I'm gonna give you just one piece of the puzzle of what makes this arc interesting. Senku is not the has had his battles with people before. He has
Okay.
fought with people who are anti-science. He has fought with people who don't understand science. What happens if you put up a Senku against another scientist?
Well, then I guess the maddest
One who's
genius
as smart
wins.
as
Then I guess
well.
the madder genius
What if
wins.
they're equally smart?
Complete annihilation.
Well, that's the arc we're heading into.
Yeah, well, I mean, the answer in the modern times is global thermonuclear war, but so
All
yeah.
right. Well,
Speak
Ark,
of,
why don't you
speaking of
tell
which,
us?
shout out to Vlad. Please don't nuke us if you even can.
God.
Anyway,
Anywho, I think it's your turn to take
all
the
right.
next
So
show.
next up is Headhunted to Another World, Salaryman for the Big Four. So this
From
is
Salaryman to Big Four.
from Salaryman to Big Four. Sorry, I can't. Some of the words on the screenshot I'm
That's
looking
why
at are
you
very
need to use
small.
the other link for the talk. Yeah.
Bah. Anyway, so basically a demon lord in another world. Not sure how evil he is, but certainly strength is
That
power,
is,
that sort of thing.
yeah.
He needs a personnel manager, so he looks through the multiverse and finds a Japanese salaryman who is just who's really really good at his job, but just is completely beaten, abused, neglected, and moved around by what I assume are the good old boys of his corporation in Japan, and is kind of losing the will to live. And all of a sudden, he gets isekai'd, and because the joke is, there's the big four, earth, water, wind, and fire, and so he's water, and it's like in the title, overseas manager. So when it first started, I'm like, oh god, the demon lord misunderstood his job title, because the
Yeah, no, this
manager
was,
of the over the seas, and it's like, no, and it turns out no, the demon lord knows exactly who he is, knows everything about him, and wants him specifically. And I must say, he has chosen very well. So it's one of these vindication stories where someone who's been overlooked and neglected now is taken in by some people who appreciate him. So it's kind of like the being kicked out of your party subgenre, which we'll see an example of later. Which, yes, that's a genre now. It's not just a trope. It's been done enough. So
yep.
that's this show. It looks like it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, just from the one episode we have watched, I am definitely impressed. The main character definitely is adaptable. He's able to learn what's going on pretty quickly, pretty easily. It's a good time.
All right, and next up.
Well, next up, you got me while I was working on the list. Next up is one that I wasn't sure if I was going to be interested in or not, and that was Honey Lemon Soda. I'm not really into the romance stuff, but this was surprisingly emotional, and yeah, I got attached.
Yeah,
I'm definitely
the
watching this.
romance is not the point of this show. It is
No,
definitely
it's
a
not.
love story. It's even in the title, in the credits. It's very much a love story. But it's basically, I would say, this is about recovering from long-term psychological abuse through the power of love and friendship.
Pretty much,
Is how I would
yes.
summarize this.
I would absolutely agree. And God, I feel so bad for our main character lady. She went through it pretty bad.
Yeah, our main character is, first of all, at least by her own account, was kind of, not in a material sense, but in an emotional sense, very spoiled at home. So she's not used to doing stuff for herself. And then all through, at least middle school, presumably elementary school as well, she's been horrendously bullied. And as she's going into high school, she kind of almost by accident meets this cool kid, I guess, because, you know, dyeing your hair blonde, what would you call that in Japan? It's a thing.
That makes you a punk.
Yeah, so he's
It's a punk
punkish. He's surprisingly polite for a punk, but yeah, he's not like full blown biker kid, but he is a bit of a punk, and his thing is, you know, he's not gonna go, oh, poor baby. He's gonna say, stand up for yourself. This is how you do. You know, repeat after me. You know, and
the other thing about him is, if you want help, you gotta ask for it. But
yeah,
then
there's that. Well, again, he's basically. I wouldn't be surprised if someone in his family is a therapist, because that's exactly the right way to do it. He's not just supporting her; he's building her up, which is a small but very important distinction.
Indeed.
So,
yeah, no. Also, the bullies in this show, set them on fire, please.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, a good ass kicking and leaving them in the dumpster.
Ass kicking is fine. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
It's just like what got me about the bully in the show is that they have a normal human reaction, going, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you okay?" And like, "Oh, it's you. Oh, I'm gonna be a horrible monster of a person now."
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You have the capacity, and you try. Oh, this person, I'm gonna not do it. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Quite a lot. I've been that person, not nearly that bad, of course, but when I was in middle school, I was an easy target, basically, and that's the thing. She is an easy target, and also she's extremely
I'm not talking
smart.
about her. She's not who I'm talking about.
Right. Well, no, that's why they're going after her specifically.
Oh, I've been her too. Part of why I reacted as strong as I did.
Mm-hmm.
But what's wrong with them? Like they react like normal human beings, and suddenly, oh, I don't have to be a human being. What's wrong with you? Yes, you do. Doesn't matter who the person is.
If you have not been properly educated to know that people are just people, then you start bucketing people, and some people, and you react to different people in different ways. You see this also with people who are crazy racists or sexists or thisists or thatists, whatever. It's the exact same thing.
Still want to know what the fuck is wrong with them, but anyway.
Yeah, well, they're immature little shits who need a life lesson.
Well, that's
what's wrong with them.
Answer. I'll take that answer.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up. So this is the one I meant when I said, you know, leaving the unappreciative adventuring party or being kicked out is now a subgenre. So we need a name for this genre. So internet, chop chop. Okay, so anyway, the name of the show is I Left My A-Rank Party to Help My Former Students Reach the Dungeon Depths. And both LK and I have noted that we like this a lot more even than a lot of the former examples, because this guy has a fucking spine. And
yeah, he doesn't go, oh, I'm sorry.
He isn't thrown out. He's like, screw this, you know.
I'm out. That's the shit, I'm out.
because what's happening is he's a red mage and an alchemist. So, first of all, there's the whole thing, oh, the support guy isn't really that important. That's stupidity. But also, he's being financially abused because the material, apparently they expect him to buy the materials and reagents and stuff for the consumables he's using, which is a major part of what he does. They're expecting him to pay out of pocket, which no, that comes out of the party's gross profit. Is the thing.
Yep.
As long now he can't go using them for his own stuff, but stuff for party purposes comes out of party funds, and then after that's overhead, and then once the overhead and everything has been the thing, then you divide your fucking net profit however many ways equally. That's how a party works, at least for permanent members. Bullshit. Yeah, so. Yeah, no, it's at least for you know, if they're like hired for one or two quests, then you know what, that's subject to negotiation.
Sure,
but for permanent members, you divide it equally. Because otherwise, you do things. I mean, if anyone's seen, there's one of my favorite caper movies is an old 1960s, 70s British caper movie called The League of Gentlemen, and so when the first two members of the crew were talking about how they're going to split it. And the guy in charge who's planning the thing is like, equal shares. And the other one says, well, more or less. He says, no, I want to get away with this. Equal shares.
That's actually legit.
Oh, yeah. It's a great movie. I need to show it to you, okay?
One of these days, yeah.
Oh, one other observation, okay. Rain-chan, who is the new party's mage.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten into the new party. I was trying to explain where this is going.
All right. Well, so you talk about. I'm sorry. You do that, and then I have an observation. And then I have an observation, which if you didn't see it, will probably blow your mind.
Oh sure. So he leaves his party because he's just like, screw this shit, and he's putting up to put himself out on the market, and he's immediately spotted by a former student of his, and she's like, wait, you're looking for mine.
Yep.
His former students, because apparently he did some teaching at one point. Yeah. Formed party, and she saw him. Like, nope, we're taking you.
Yeah, I get the feeling that he's done a lot of tutoring at the guild, but this group of three young ladies seem to be among his best students. They seem to have very much taken his lessons to heart, and it seems to be working for them.
Yes, they definitely seem to have paid attention to it. But anyway, you had a thought about one of them.
So, Rain-chan, the mage in this, she is just young human Roxy.
Oh my god, you're right.
Right? Because I was looking at her, I'm like, I've seen that character before, and it took me a minute to place her, but yeah. So, somebody's a fan of Mishoko Tensei.
Hey, somebody's got good taste.
Yeah.
No, this show, the first time I saw this trope was in Banished from the Heroes Party, which is also all kinds of fantastic. And I'll say, hey, in that case, Red also had a backbone.
There's quite a few of these.
That said, yeah, though, there's a ton of
Beast Tamer, I think, was the same.
Beast Tamer was also like that, yep.
I've read them.
There's a whole bunch of them like this.
Yeah, and there's a lot more if you go into light novels.
No, but the first one I noticed was Banished from the Heroes Party.
Oh.
So I'm always going to refer to that as my go-to.
Oh.
Sort of like how I've heard of most of the villainous reincarnations.
Yeah, that's the Otomi reincarnation is definitely a genre now as well.
Yeah, but
it's interesting how these things go.
It's nice to see him basically stand up for himself. Now, sometimes in these, they'll stand up for themselves after they've made their new party. Nah, he didn't need. He just was like, no, screw you guys. This is it. I'm done. Bye.
Yeah, and just from seeing the first episode, his party really fucked up letting him go.
Oh, absolutely. They're absolute morons, and they're going to get what they're going to F around, and they're going to find out.
Well.
But yeah, no, this was a good show. Can't wait to see the dub.
Indeed. Also, speaking of light novels, one thing I totally forgot to mention with Ariku MD is from LK's brief research after when we watched the show. Ameku, excuse me. Apparently, this is based on a long series of light novels, but they have not yet been translated into English. So with the dub, the English, the anime premiering in America and around the world, translation houses, somebody, if nobody has already,
There
license
are
and
a
translate it,
number.
chop.
There are a number of light novel to anime adaptations whose light novels have not been translated, and it is endlessly frustrating to me.
Yeah, the big one for me was the Parallel World Pharmacy. It's like, what the actual fuck? Because that's one I really want to read. Maybe I should just learn Japanese at this rate.
The big one for me was Knights of Magic, but they finally started doing that.
Oh, those are great novels. I need to watch the anime.
Anime is great. I wanted more of that anime. Good God.
That's fun. Yeah, it's basically fantasy mechs. What's not to love?
You should hear the voice actor for
Oh,
Louis.
I believe it.
Amazing.
I believe it. Louis is a fun character. Anyway, not here to talk about that. Next,
and this is one I'm going to let you talk about, even though you just talked about, because this is a you show.
Okay, well, this is, imagine if the wrath of 10 million abused office workers who were chronically made to work overtime was condensed into a cute young lady with a giant baka hammer. So, the name of the show is I May Be a Guild Receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time.
And the show may as well be called Sir, This Is a Wendy's.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's a pretty standard fantasy thing where, there's dungeons, monsters spawn, adventurers go to do, and of course the Adventurers Guild. The thing is, the longer that an end boss of a dungeon stays up, the more monsters spawn and the more work there is for everybody, but also the more that the Adventurers Guild gets overloaded. And this young lady, for whatever reason we don't know yet, has this world-ending skill. But she wants the secure 9-to-5 government job. But with the boss going up and all these, these braggadocious high-level parties like, we're going to kill the boss! And they can't, and they can't, and they can't. And she's like, fuck you guys, I'll do this myself. Because the thing is, the longer this goes on, the more work piles up, and she has to stay longer and longer and longer and put in more and more unpaid overtime. And it's to the point where it reminds me of the horror stories of Wall Street once Wall Street was really a thing and before computers, where they used to have to take 1 or 2 days off a week just to let the poor clerks try and catch up with all the stock trades. Gosh. Oh God, yeah, don't look into that, it'll give you nightmares. But yeah, that was a period.
What strikes me as interesting is some of the background elements of this show.
Oh yeah.
This is a world where the gods were a big thing, and their ancestors were a big thing, and their ancestors disappeared for some reason. And there also used to be magic that was just inherent to them, and that's no longer the case. They now have to use external magic objects with symbols of the gods on them. But a receptionist is somehow an exception.
Yeah. So that's definitely a plot point.
So that's a plot hook that is very interesting. This feels like a really cute light novel plot that has absolutely made it to an anime, and yeah, I'm enjoying it.
So yeah, so the other thing is, in this course of killing this one boss, she gets face recognized because she thinks her face is all in shadow. Turns out the leader of the party that was about to get wiped has really good night vision, and he figures out who she is.
Yeah,
and she basically threatens to kill him, literally.
Yeah, her threats don't work on him, and his threats don't work on her, and it's hilarious.
I'm pretty sure she will actually kill him if he keeps going with this. But also, there's some sort of sinister fuckery going on that we'll see. So she's going to get yanked into God knows what.
It's great. Can't wait for more. Can't wait for the dub. This one's definitely worth your time.
One other thing along these lines, actually 2 points. One is the animation on this is way more fluid than this plot probably deserves.
That was something else I was going to comment on. Thank you. The animation feels almost Ghibli-like.
Yeah, someone put a lot of money and love into this for whatever reason, and
hey, I mean, it's good.
Yeah. The other thing is, this reminds me of just to explain the novels themselves are fine, but the premise, I love to giggle about this.
I've read the novels.
No. It's something similar, but just I love explaining. It's very quick. The premise of the novels is called The Sorcerer's Receptionist, where again there's the guild thing, and so it starts with a girl whose parents are doing this sort of work, and she goes with her dad to the guild one day, and she sees the guild receptionists all beautiful and put together, and she says, "Daddy," when they get home, she's like, "Daddy, Mommy, I want to be one of the receptionist ladies," and they tell her, "Ooh, you might want to rethink that," not because it's a low grade thing, but because those ladies need to be super duper fucking qualified. So that's the setup for that, and I think that's so cool.
All right, then. Well, we should get back to talking about some Simuldubs.
Indeed. So
next up is one that the dub is already out, and it's very interesting, and it's Magic Maker. I'm gonna go straight to the tin on this one because there's so much going on that if I try to go from what happened, oof.
Yeah, let's just give them the key points.
Yeah, well, after dying on his 30th birthday, a man is reborn as a child and embarks on a quest to learn magic. Well, and I'm going to give it a little more than that because that is not.
Although I don't think in the first episode, the interesting thing in the first episode, there's some hints that we can put together, but I don't think they actually said in the first episode that this kid is a reincarnate.
I think he mentions it at the very end of that episode, if I remember right.
I don't know. I'd have to double check. Anyway, but it's great how they soft pedal that. It's
there's only one episode, and we already know. So
yeah, but we can figure out. But it's a nice change of pace the way they approach it.
He straight up says it
okay,
himself.
My point is that the way they soft pedal that is a nice change of pace.
It is. What's interesting? So the main character, before he even says that, before we learn that, is just like, "Hey, Dad, is such a thing as monsters? Yeah, there's monsters out there. Don't worry, you're safe though. Cool. Are there adventurers? Yeah, no, there are adventurers out there who fight monsters. Is there magic? What the heck is magic?"
Yeah, they literally don't know the word.
Immediately sullen as soon as he hears that. just really depressed. And his attendant little sister, who's so adorable, noticed and holds on to that for years until she sees some really strange phenomenon. Shows it to her parents. They don't see it. They just don't see it at all. She sees it. Her friend sees it, and her brother, who she takes to go see it, sees it.
Yeah, and they show it to a bunch of kids from around the area. Only some of them see it.
Yes. We do know, because the parents do mention, although they are rare, fairies do exist. And from what I can tell based on the logo, fairies are going to be a major part of this somehow.
Yeah, and apparently
but based on the title, we're discovering and creating magic. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's a whole new field of endeavor. And so far I haven't seen him writing anything down. So that's my one piece of advice to our main character is start writing everything down in meticulous detail.
Indeed. Well, Ark, I think it's time for you to tell us about the next one.
Okay.
Which was better than I would have expected. But
first things first. Title. Medaka Kuroiwa. Medaka Kuroiwa is impervious to my charms. So, this is very much a rom-com, emphasis on the comedy. Yes. So, this one I'm going to watch it at least a little bit just to see which direction it goes. So, the setup is there's the popular girl who's kind of, she's nice, she doesn't pick on anyone, but she's been very pretty and charming ever since she was little, and she's used to being the center of attention. And doted on by absolutely everybody. I forget who they first said this about, but she adores being adored.
She is the queen bee, as they keep...
Very literally so, yeah.
Metaphor.
Or metaphorically so, yeah. And so, but there's this new transfer student who, when she tries to charm him, he's just like, he literally starts, does a little prayer and ignores her. And so for whatever reason, she finds this very frustrating. So apparently she's grown a complex, and she keeps trying to get him to simp for her. And it turns out, to make a very long story short, it turns out that he is the heir to a shrine and apparently is not supposed to have anything to do with girls. And I don't know anything about Shinto, but I'm thinking, okay, if it's a family shrine, how does the family continue if you don't get married, first of all? And then if it's one of those shrines where, it's almost like, joining becoming a Catholic priest or whatever, you become celibate or whatever, then how are you the heir? But I don't know. Doesn't matter.
We'll figure it out at some point if you keep watching. Although I'm not.
It could just be nonsense in the Japanese context, or there's something I don't know. Either way, doesn't matter. The point is, the thing is, wacky hijinks ensue, and he obviously really does think she's cute, and she is, for one thing or another, actually starting to take an interest in him, and it's freaking her out. So,
it's pretty funny. It's funnier than it had any right to be, so I'll give it credit for that, but it's still very much a rom-com.
Yeah, so as somebody who does enjoy this sort of thing up to a certain point, this is going to go one of two ways. Either it's going to be a one-note comedy show that'll get very old very fast, or it will be a perfectly run-of-the-mill and competent romance plot as they work through their respective situations. I don't know which. I'm kind of curious, so I'm probably going to watch at least for a little while. But, yeah, that's that. So, but either way, not really something to get excited about, but there's that. It's good enough, I'd say, to probably deserve a dub.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting one, so.
Yeah, well, obviously, but there's some things that get dubbed, it's like, why?
Well, we'll get to one of those here pretty quick.
Yes.
But not now, because now we're talking about possibly the greatest alchemist of all time. We've already got 2 dubbed episodes of this one.
Mm-hmm.
Summoned into Midgard, Iruma Takami's dream of a quiet life is shattered by his powerful alchemy skill. He just makes all the good shit with alchemy, and he doesn't even mean to.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. So, another interesting thing, part of the setup is he's actually almost like a casualty of a small mass summoning event by what appears to be an evil empire. But he's an unintended summon, so he would just be destroyed, but the goddess takes pity on him and drops him in. And so I think he's going to wind up foiling.
She also made a comment. She dropped him in several
years
earlier than intended to try to thwart this empire. So
I don't know if she actually said to thwart, but that's obviously what for.
That was the context of what she said.
Yeah, so she's this is my interpretation, is she's throwing the summoners a bomb.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
And a very nice bomb who gets a lot of friends and an spider pet. So
spider pet.
And as someone who's extremely arachnophobic, don't worry about it. Maple does not trigger my arachnophobia. I think she was designed that way on purpose.
She's designed like a little plushie.
Yeah. So if anyone reads the webcomic Questionable Content, she's like that spider bot from the Job Center. Very similar design. So, what was his name?
Anyway. Arc. Why don't you tell us what's coming back? Because it's coming back to get you. It's coming back to get you.
Are we ready for more solo leveling, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages?
Indeed. Solo leveling is back. Feels like it's been forever. Solo leveling season 2. Arise from the shadow.
Oh, dear. So, yes.
It's very freaking cool.
Yeah, and remember, this show goes hard in every respect. So
the intro's out there, and I've seen it. Oh, it's everything you'd expect.
Yeah, but
hell yeah!
This show gets dark and it gets brutal. So prepare your orifices.
Oh yes, but no, I'm here for this shit.
Oh God, yes.
And when we will almost certainly talk about solo leveling, and when we do, I have a certain returning guest in mind.
Excellent.
Because we are not Korea boos, but we are in fact hanging out with Sketch a lot, so I think I can probably get him back.
I mean, I like South Korea.
the joke is we couldn't pronounce those names, remember?
Oh, right. Okay, so...
And now it's the one where we question why this is getting dubbed.
Probably
Apparently
because, for whatever reason, the first season was dubbed, and now they have to continue it, but... Oh my god, it's...
The 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. Season 2. No, thank you. Nope.
Yeah, and my simple observation as the resident trash creep person is quality is to be preferred over quantity in such matters. I'll pass.
But to be fair, because maybe this is a listener's thing, in which case I'm sorry I just trashed all over your show. Rentaro meets new soulmates, balancing comedic chaos and heartfelt moments as his relationships deepen.
The thing is, once a harem gets past like 5 or 6 at the absolute most, boys or girls, it really just breaks down, I think, because then you just, there's not enough time for anybody to get a time to do anything.
Indeed. But you know what's coming back that we're also excited about, because this is kind of a sandwich. We have something we're really excited to come back, something that we are not excited to come back with. This Arc. Why don't you tell us what's coming back?
Well, watch what you eat, folks, because the Apothecary Diaries is back for a second season.
Hell yeah! We actually talked about Apothecary Diaries before, because it ended shortly before this podcast began. Yep. We actually talked about it as a show that from winter 2024 that wasn't free run that you should watch. And you should totally watch it here in winter 2025.
You've got time to catch up on season 1. It is absolutely worth your time. I'm actually rewatching it just because I have the excuse.
This is one of the best shows of last year. Spoilers, it's on our lists for best of the year. If you didn't watch it, do it. Do it now and catch up. And
now is the time to get ready for the Simuldub.
Now is the time for Mao.
Yep, Mao. That was good. My only further observation is, as the resident lover of cat girls, I officially say that Mao Mao counts as such. #fight me.
Oh, interesting.
You remember, I mean, not only does she act more cat girl than most cat girls, but also they use it as a visual trope, so she absolutely counts.
They do. Just make sure not to feed her any poison after midnight.
God, or she turns into an obsessive researcher. Oh god. All right. So the next one's all you. Although, are they actually dubbing this? I mean, we should talk about this anyway. Okay, good, because I didn't see a dub. I didn't see a dub TBA on this.
It's right. I'm looking right at it.
Okay, then I'm just stupid then.
The Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world. Go Power Rangers!
Oh god.
This one's right on the tin. A member of Ranger Squad finds himself in a new land and uses power to protect those in need. What if the Red Power Ranger, for those uninitiated in Super Sentai or Power Rangers, Red Ranger is the leader. Mm-hmm. They are the team leader. What if he, in the middle of or at the end of fighting his great fight in Super Sentai, has been summoned to Fantasy World to save it as well? And I've watched the trailer, and he is Zord complete. He is not just him, he has his
Oh, shit, you didn't tell me that.
I sent you the trailer, why didn't you watch it?
Because I had a million first episodes to watch, and you already told me the plot hook.
Okay, yeah, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I already knew I was there for this, so I skipped it.
I am Super Sentai runs in my blood, so I am all over this thing. Yeah. But not
so much for me, but this premise I want.
Oh no, this is a great idea. Yes. Fantastic idea, and I'm here for it.
Yep.
If you find a way to make isekai unique and interesting, they did it. I've never considered something like this before, and this is actually really exciting.
Yeah, and this is what's interesting about the fact that manga to a certain extent, but especially all these light novels coming out through these sites where you could just easily self-publish in Japan, it reminds me a lot of, if anyone else has watched Soviet. There's other examples, but the one that comes to mind is the DayZ evolution thing that led to the battle royale genre in video games and survival crafting games in video games. So go watch Soviet Womble's video essays if you don't know what I'm talking about. But basically, there's all these light novels are taking these tropes and ideas and each one's putting their own little spin on it. And occasionally people will have an original idea or something, and then people will start mixing, and that gets mixed into the thing. So it's this evolving mass of ideas, and the best ones rise to the top and get picked up and turned into proper light novels and officially published. So it's really interesting what's going on from a creative.
Oh yeah, what's interesting about the LNs is they a lot of them start off as what's called a web novel.
Exactly.
Is basically
that's what I'm talking about.
What
right,
it reminds
and so
me
that's
of
where the
old,
evolution goes on.
The Wild West days of the webcomic is what it reminds me of.
Yeah, well, that's still going to an extent. It's just you need to go look these days. Yeah, there's still a lot of webcomics out there if you go look.
I'm not saying there aren't, but the culture's kind of moved past it.
True. But yeah, so it's one of these outbursts of creative energy and where you see things. So like I said, first of all, just because if you have any interest in video games as a medium, go watch this channel called Soviet Womble. It's mostly just video game silliness.
We've
but
gone off top. We
anyway.
need to keep a little more on topic, buddy.
Sorry. Anyway,
it's fine.
Yeah.
But yes,
so the exactly same thing is happening. Is my point.
Yes. I think that point was well made. And yeah, no, it's exciting to see something this unique pop out of it.
All right.
Something that I am a lot less excited for, however. Do you want me to take this one for you, or do you want to do it?
Do you want to talk about the next one, or do you want me to do it?
You know what? I'll take this one so you can do that, because I want to talk about the one after.
Got it. All right. So
this is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun.
Whatever.
Neither of us care. I'm sorry. It's Hanako-kun, the toilet ghost. Little silly stories.
Yeah, we have mentioned.
It's there if you want it.
We have mentioned it. Consider it mentioned. Moving on.
Pretty much, not really a thing for us, but it's. Well, actually, you know what? This description bears commenting on. Hanako, Nene, and Co. race against time to uncover the traitor among the Seven Wonders. So apparently the plot's getting a little serious in the Toilet Ghost land.
Okay. That's nice.
If you're into the Toilet Ghost, which, to be fair, I have heard actually really good things. I've just never gotten into it because Toilet Ghost, guys.
Yeah, that sort of just kind of off-the-wall random comedy isn't really my thing for the most part.
Not really me either, but I mean, I respect it. So
yeah,
if you're into Hanako-kun, looks like you've got an interesting plot going on.
Yeah, I mean, if there wasn't something to it, it wouldn't have gotten 10 billion continuations. It's like, Data Live. It's, I have no interest in it, but there must be something to it because they keep making the fucking thing.
I would a gazillion times rather watch Hanako-kun than Data Live.
True, but my point is it's the same thing from my point of view in that there must be something to it, but it's not my thing.
Something that shocked us both.
Yeah, because we had no idea what to expect.
I will say, this one, before you get into it, I read the first line of the description and thought it was going to be something else.
Yeah. So, LK, and this is all I knew, is LK is like, it's something about an animator, and so we both thought, oh, it's going to be something cool like Jellyfish. Neat. We're down for that. No, it's not. So, it starts with a genius, a breakout animator, like, someone who apparently, young lady who apparently has, before age 30, achieved Akira Toriyama levels of fame and relevance, and with a breakout hit. And she is suffering creative burnout and frustration, and she's one of these people who thinks she needs to do everything herself, which is probably why she's almost killing herself. And so she goes back, and there's this animated movie that nobody's watched. It doesn't really make any sense. So what? Oh, I didn't. It's called Zenshu, which conveys nothing to my mind.
I'm like, we haven't told them the name.
Right, because again, usually the title tells you something. In this case, which I kind of like, it really doesn't tell you anything.
It really doesn't, which is interesting.
Does that even mean anything in Japanese that you know of?
I mean, Zen,
Yeah, I know what Zen is in general, but anyway, so yeah, someone tell us in the comments what Zenshu means, if anything. I don't speak Japanese, except for a few words, but
I used to kind of, but not to that degree.
yeah. Anyway, so she goes back to there's this
Complete Works.
Complete Works. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Literally Google Translate it actually gave me a full.
Okay, so
thing,
it's a word. Okay. Complete Works. That actually makes sense. All right. So what there's this movie, this kind of shitty third-rate animated movie that she loves and she watches over and over, and nobody really likes it because it doesn't really make sense. She likes it because she can't figure it out, and she likes the animation. And as she's doing this, she kind of chokes on something, and because everyone in the office is scared of her, nobody intervenes before she either passes out or dies. I'm not sure.
Where she either is having the greatest fever dream, or she's been isekai'd, or both.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what's going on, but she wakes up in the opening scene of the movie as the monsters attack, and she almost gets killed before the hero party saves her. And it's literally going line for line from the movie, and then she realizes, oh crap, we're about at the town's about to get attacked and destroyed, so she tries to tell them. They don't believe her, because she's been being a total gremlin. She's not a very nice person. And they don't even realize she's human at first, because she's got long hair that's all down her face, and it's literally, only in anime could you actually see through that. And so they think she's some sort of beast kid or something. But anyway, so she's like, and the other thing is she realizes the hero's best friend's about to die in, the big dramatic opening moment. And so one thing leads to another, and she's like, I gotta do something. I do something? And this voice keeps telling her, you need to draw something change. She's like, how the hell do I do that? The voice is not very helpful, but eventually, like, a drawing station manifests for her out of nowhere, and she draws this giant Godzilla overpowered thing that just wipes out the evil monster army and saves the little, imagine a male My Little Pony with a bad attitude and a drinking habit.
It's Unico with the copyright torn off.
Okay, yeah, it's I actually kind of like him, but he actually he doesn't die at a dramatic moment of self-sacrifice, and she just passes out. But before she does, she says, the hero's like, "Who are you?" She's like, "I'm so and so. I'm an animator. I'm from the real world," and she passes out. And he kind of takes her at her word at this point, and that's where the first episode ends. So. Most people's workplace fantasies are not, like, we've all had these weird workplace fantasies. They're not supposed to be this fucking cool.
Yeah, no, this was amazing. I was completely in shock when it went the isekai route, and I was glued to the screen the entire time. This is one to watch.
Yeah, it's just, it's something that feels, on the one hand, it's obviously somebody's, self-aggrandizement fantasy. On the other hand, it's very original and very well done, and clearly a passion project, because it's about an animator.
Yeah,
it was made by a team of animators.
Yeah.
Write what you know.
This is one,
it's very original.
Of the ones we've watched that is not something coming back, this is the one I'm most interested in.
Yeah, it just, completely left field for me. And so there's that. All right, so next up, I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take the next two, if that's okay with you.
Please.
We're now going on from...
Actually, take the next three, because I don't know the third one either.
You know what? Sure, I'll do that. So, we're now going into continuing dubs that have been going on, and the one that is going to make J-Mac the happiest, ReZero Starting Life in Another World Season 3. My comment on this is, oh, thank God, and I mean it, because we all thought the season was done, and it stopped in the middle of the action.
Good God.
It stopped on the hero broke in on the villains trying to do a wedding on Kidnapped Girl. Not even kidding. That's where we ended.
Good stuff.
Literally the I object. That is what we ended on. Yeah, no, I am so glad they weren't done because ReZero goes like several years between seasons.
Well, clearly they're spending that time animating, so.
Well, yeah, it's a light novel series, which arc we do have, and you should definitely read.
I will at some point. It's on the list.
You might have a better time reading it than watching it. I know you didn't really care for the anime.
Like I said, it is, and I've told you every time this comes up, it is very much on the list of my LN backlog.
All right. Anywho, yeah, goddamn. Glad that it's back. I gave Subaru an award for the season for best protagonist, and I meant it. He had one of the best moments last season. Just giving a heartfelt speech that just goddamn. Yeah, no, this is one to watch. If you've already a ReZero fan, you already know. If you're not already a ReZero fan, have you been living under a rock, or are you Archangel?
Well, and to go back to a very old joke in a past friend group, I am the Rock's resident. As yes, in the one who lives under a rock. Very deliberately so.
Well, you've at least seen some ReZero, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy to have ReZero back. It's continuing, but like it's been on break for a while, so it's continuing coming back, as it were. Although it's not due till February. What has been straight continuing has been the remake of Rurouni Kenshin. This is going to be a contentious one to talk about, because there's
it's a remake. Controversy.
It's a straight remake.
Okay, that makes more sense, because I thought it was a continuation of some sort, and I'm like, I thought that ended forever ago.
It did. They've started remaking it like 2 years ago.
Well, I mean, it's been long enough.
Well, the big conundrum has been the controversy with Watsuki. If you're not aware, unfortunately, the creator of Rurouni Kenshin, Nobuhiro Watsuki, was deeply involved in kid porn.
Okay, well, as long as there's none of that in the plot, then who cares?
No, the show is fine. Show is fine. Show is loved. I will stand by the show. I won't stand by Watsuki.
Okay, let me put it this way. House of Cards seasons 1 and 2 are some of the best television I have ever seen, and the fact that Kevin Spacey is a human-shaped piece of shit doesn't change that.
Right.
So that's my position.
The concern for a lot of people is they don't want Watsuki to get some of the money because for whatever reason, the Japanese industry has just let Watsuki they don't care and keeps making money. Show came back, makes money. Now, if you have Crunchyroll, your money's already there. Doesn't matter. Just watch.
Yeah.
And this is a case where it's an Aniplex show, so we're probably not getting a home video release anyway.
Okay, well, this will probably trigger LK, but I'd say the solution to that is pirate it.
I actually don't disagree, although in this case, you don't really need to. It's on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
You're already paying for
so either watch it or Crunchyroll, or if you want files to save, pirate them.
Pirate.
Problem solved.
I think it is morally acceptable to pirate Rurouni Kenshin because Watsuki is a piece of shit who deserves no money. That said, Rurouni Kenshin is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I haven't watched
I'm looking forward to this because I remember loving the original show.
You and I have got work to do because we've got to catch you up, but I got to catch up too, and this might give me a reason. This is the continuation of the Kyoto disturbance. Season 1 was basically the first arc, the Tokyo arc. The Kyoto arc started last season and has been continuing. And from the original anime, the Kyoto arc was the arc. It's a fight against Shishio. Holy shit. The new voice cast that they use, because the old voice cast straight up refused to reprise their roles because of the situation with Watsuki. I'm not kidding. But I will say the new cast is actually really good, really talented.
Okay.
I have nothing but love and respect for the original. I have nothing but love and respect for the new. It's a tough situation to be dubbing in a show that has this amount of controversy around it, but they're doing it and they're doing a good job. Kenshin is good shit.
I've been thinking, on the one hand, wouldn't it be nice if there was some legal fuckery we could use to prevent the guy from making any money off this? On the other hand, if there was, corporations would just abuse the hell out of it. So no, I don't want that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is still classic Rurouni Kenshin. Kenshin is for all those reasons, is a mixed bag for me, but I will tell you, and you know this arc, but the audience, Rurouni Kenshin is a foundational piece of anime for me.
Mm-hmm.
It does mean the world to me. And the fact that they've been remaking it and are probably going to actually complete the story, which the old anime never did,
Nice.
that is exciting. I just wish I could be more excited. But I can't. There is a damper on it.
Yeah. Well, all I can say is it is a very excellent story. Yes, it is.
Oh, yes, it is. Continuing on is Shangri-La Frontier Season 2, Core 2. I still need to watch Core 2 of Season 1, but the burb is fun. I really need to catch up on this one. I hear nothing but good things about where it went, but what I did see, this was a good one. This is one I wish we could have watched as a group, but it was just too much going on when it started. Would have been great last season because we definitely needed a little bit more, but oh well. Shangri-La Frontier, very good. And I will let you handle these next two, Ark.
All right, so next up, Trillion Game is continuing, and if I wanted to watch a stupid spoiled little shits destroying the world, I would pay more attention to Elon Musk.
The Muskrat. Yeah,
Indeed.
I'm still not interested in this either, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's there for people who want it, and there's definitely an audience for this, so...
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Hats off to you. Not really interested.
And next up, oh god, Tying the Knot with an Amagami Sister. Which, okay, so let me read the précis. Let me read the précis in case, I think this is a continuation, but yeah, it is. So are you aiming for medical school and must choose between 3 shrine maidens to inherit their family shrine? And my comment, I think I said this before, is this is the perfect setup to a hentai. Why is this an anime?
It really does kind of feel that way.
Yeah, anyway, so there's that.
And our final continuing. It doesn't say it's continuing, but Blue Exorcist came back. Kuro and I talked about the Shamane Illuminati arc, which was a core. And its past core was the Beyond the Snow saga, which we're going to talk about as soon as my computer's back. Well, maybe not immediately, but it's in the plans. We're going to be talking more about that.
We have some awards to do first, but
yeah, well, we got so much shit to do. But there's no reason why they're not going to dub this. They've been straight dubbing it since it came back, and it's still back, and it's still going.
I can improv edit regular episodes if it goes long enough, as long as you don't expect too many visuals.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. But yeah, Blue Exorcist is back. It's kicking. This arc is going to be the one that hurts because this is where the flashback arc, which started in Beyond the Snow, kicks into, okay, what happened? We all know about the Blue Knight. What happened in the Blue Knight? Well, now you're gonna find out, and it's gonna hurt.
Oh dear, this is like the night of
this
terror.
Is what
right?
happened. This is what happened to Rin and Yukio's mom.
Oh boy. All right.
And it hurts. It hurts really bad.
Well.
But that is but it's good. It's good stuff. But that is it. That is all the shows we managed to get through. Quite a slate. I'm very excited. This is a good beginning to 2025. 2024 was a standout year for anime, and 2025 is starting strong.
Okay. So, this episode of the Simuldub Saints is brought to you by Seraph Industries. Based in the Motor City of Detroit, Michigan, which has long been a center of industrial excellence and innovation, Seraph Industries is and remains the world leader in augmentation technology. Their founder, David Seraph, envisions a world where humans can direct our own evolution, and they're working every day to bring mankind as a whole closer to that goal. So whether you've unfortunately suffered an accident or illness, or whether you're simply looking to upgrade, Insist on serif quality for all of your bodily augmentations. Serif Industries. Evolve yourself.
All right. Thank you, Seraph Industries. Well, I guess that's a podcast. So, Ark, outside of Oscar Roch's trash can, where can the people find you?
Mostly in Sheffingham lately, which is translation landlord super, which is more fun than it has any right to be. But yeah, and if you want to get in touch with me, you can comment here on the episode, or you can contact LK and any of the things he's about to talk about.
Indeed. You can also see Archangel fairly recently on Toonami Faithful, where we talked about Mashal, and we're going to be talking about Invincible Fight Girl soon.
Yeah, I'm almost becoming a regular guest.
You're one of our Pull 2 people. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't mind.
But yeah, as for me, you can find me on Twitter at LaserKid Prime. You can find me on Blue Sky at LaserKid. You can find the Simuldub Saints on Twitter and Blue Sky at Simuldub Saints. And you can find the podcast itself on YouTube at Simuldub Saints and on Spotify Podcast at Simuldub Saints, although that one might have to wait a minute. We'll see about that.
Yeah, I'm just going to provide you with the MP4. And
yeah, no, that's fine. We'll figure something out. But it'll get there. You'll be hearing this eventually on Spotify, but might take a little bit longer to get there. Sorry about that.
Yep. So,
but that is all we got for today. So, Happy New Year, everyone, and until next time, catch you later.